Shalom Uvracha Chevra, what a schus to be starting a brand new Limud as part of our Kolel Toras Chaim, this network of Yidden all over the world who are going to be learning as Hashem Torah Ayin Gimel, Torah Chav Hey, in Tinyana, Bi'iyun Rav, for this month of Elul. These Torahs are much more accessible than the previous Torah that we learned. It was very, very lengthy, very abstract, very difficult, glorious as anything, but challenging. And these Torahs, we're going to find, Be'ezus Hashem, are much more manageable, much more accessible, and what an incredible opportunity, this Elul, to connect ourselves to this Limud with these Yidden who are real Mavakshei Hashem, just trying to find ways of getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the derech of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Nachman, Zuchusei Yagan Aleinu. So in the beginning of Torah Ayin Gimel, Rabbi Nachman says that there are 50 gates of Tshuva. 49 of these gates are accessible to every Yid, and the 50th gate is a bechina of the return, kiviyachol, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, as the pasuk says, Shuvu Elai is the 49 gates of Tshuva that are shaykh to us, and then Vashuva Aleichem is the 50th gate that HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes out kiviyachol to greet us, and that's Hashem fills that last space. So we have to think about what this is. 50 gates of Tshuva. Where does that come from? What's the makar? What is it? What are 50 gates and their shaykhs to Tshuva? Where does Rabbi Nachman get this idea from? And so many of us will be familiar just on the surface. You think Chamishim Sharei, and like ChatGPT, fills in the next word. Chamishim Sharei, Bina, right? Ordinarily, when we think about the 50 gates, we think about the Maimar Chazal that tells us that there are 50 gates of Bina. So Bina on a simple level, of course, means a certain cognitive capacity, which ordinarily is connected to particularism, to separate pieces of information, to taking a big idea and breaking it down into parts, and analyzing each element in and of itself. And that's the moichin of Bina. That's called the cognition of Bina. And Chazal say that there are 50 gates of Bina, and that's what it means, al pi pshat. In a much deeper way, the tzaddikim teach that there is a realm called Bina, which is the Sephira of Bina. That's one of the stages of the unfolding revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's embedded into every layer of existence. That's called the element of Bina, which is associated with the Olam HaBriya. Okay, 4 Olamas, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiya, 10 spheres, right? And so Bina is the third from the top, Keser, Chachma, and Bina. And they're going to how these two systems intertwine or overlap. But Bina is correlated to the world of Bria. And the tzaddikim teach that what is this thing of Bina? And so very deeply, Bina, being the third sphera from the top out of 10, means that there are 7 spheres below it. Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Chod, Yesod, and Malchus. 7 is always associated with nature. Olam Chesed Yibana. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu began to create the Olam, our physical world, from Chesed. Chesed down to Malchus is the framework for our natural experience of this worldliness, which comes with many limitations and constraints. 7 days of the week, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 metals, 7 planets, 7 continents. So everything is 7, 7, 7, 7. That's this world. That's from Chesed down to Malchus. One above nature, okay, that's the realm of Bina. Olam Chesed, actually, Yibaneh is the Isis Bina. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, meaning Chesed is emerging from Yibaneh, from Bina, from that place of Bina. Bina is one above. So Bina is always associated with 8, which is why in the Maral Sfarim, but he doesn't explain the underpinnings, but Baruch Hashem Razach in this dar to the Pnimius of Pnimius, to the thing itself. But the Maral is always saying that 8 is L'malam Teva. 8 is L'malam Teva. That's why the Chanukah are 8 days. And we actually sing in one of the Shirim, I think it's Ma'asur, we sing B'nei Vina Yemei Shmaina. It's fascinating, right? We correlate the 8 days to the Sphira of Bina. Yemei B'nei Vina is Yemei Shmaina. And Chanukah's L'malam Teva, it's a nace. Tzitzis, that's 4, kafel 4, so it's 8 strings on each tzitzis. The 8 days of Mila, which is an Indian also of L'malam Derech HaTeva. All of these elements are associated with the realm of Bina, which is one above. Why is this important? Because Chazal tell us that the world of Bria, really the Mekubalim tell us that what exists, kiviyachol, in the world of Bria is the Kisei HaKavod. The Olam of Atzilus is generally the Shemus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bria is the world of the Kisei HaKavod. Yitzir is the world of different kinds of malachim. Generally, we're speaking very generally, and the world of Asiya is the world of Adam, is the world of human beings, the created universe from our perspective. Okay, generally. But the world of Bria is the Kisei HaKavod. Why is all this important? Because now, based on these hakdamas, we could understand the Maimer Chazal that sasam v'chasam. Otherwise, people think that they know the Gemara. They don't know the Gemara, because they read the Gemara, so you can say what it means. But what does it mean? What does it really mean? What does the Gemara mean when it says Gedoyla Tshuva? Tshuva is so great. Shemagas ad Kisei HaKavod. That it is so incredibly lofty that it reaches to the Kisei HaKavod. So it's difficult to understand this, but now we can understand. Because if the whole thing of the Kisei HaKavod Olam Bria is correlated with the sphere of Bina, which is one beyond nature, so then unbelievably, in the very basic template for really beginning to understand what Tshuva means, is that Tshuva is an Indian of going L'mala Midarech HaTeva. Meaning, Tshuva is breaking out of the constraints of what we're naturally programmed to do as human beings, and to tap into the neshama, which comes from the place of the Kisei HaKavod. Because the Zohar Kadosh says that all Jewish neshamas are etched out from the Kisei HaKavod, etched out from that place. And the Pnei Yaakov is chakuk on the Kisei HaKavod. Like the Malachim are going up and down the ladder, and they're seeing Yaakov above and seeing Yaakov below. Yaakov Avinu's face is there on the Kisei HaKavod. So when the Rebbe says that there are 50 gates of Tshuva, he's referring to the 50 gates of Bina, which now we understand in its correlation with the Kisei HaKavod. Gedoyla Tshuva Shemagas at Kisei HaKavod is oto davar. So it's referring to the same Nakuda. It's the same thing. That's where Tshuva is. Tshuva is in this place of Bina, of going back to the Kisei HaKavod. And the beauty of this ha'ara is that it also enables us to understand the connection between these 49 gates of Tshuva that are accessible to all of us, like the 49 gates of Bina were accessible to Moshe Rabbeinu, but not one beyond, and also what shaykhs these 49 gates have to the 49 letters in the names of the Shvatim. Because it's very intuitive to understand that if Tshuva really means to return to the Kisei HaKavod, to that place of the supernatural shayrish for Nishmas Yisrael, that of course we're going to be returning through the letters of the names of the Shvatim, because that's our shayrish as an Am. The Pnei Yaakov is chakuk on the Kisei HaKavod. From Yaakov Avinu comes 12 Shvatim, which is the shleimus of Am Yisrael. And all of us, in returning to that shayrish of who we really are, of being able to break out of the lowliness and the nachash and all the different things that we think become who we are, but they're always external. That's why they're called machshavei zaris. They're foreign. It's not really who I am. The nachash convinces us because hitel bazuama, so we think that we're the nachash. But it's not. That's not me. Right? It means we're coming back to the essence of who we are, which is rooted in the place of lamala minateva, and that's associated with the 49 letters that exist in the names of the Shvatim, because we're returning to our essence as Klal Yisrael. We're returning to that place where we're not bound by Teva, and that we can go beyond. That's the Indian, like we said, of Bris, right, which is 8, which enables us to work on these inyanim, to rise above the natural draw of the guf with all of its correlated elements, and to really grow and to change and to be a person who's mima'al, who's beyond, above and beyond. And that's the Indian of Tshuva. That again, another Maimer Chazal that's connected is that Tshuva was kadma la'olam. Now we can understand what this means, because olam is olam chesed yibana. That's the lower 7 meters. But Tshuva kadma la'olam, because Tshuva is connected to the world of Bina, Bria, Kisei HaKavod, Sharish Nishmas Yisrael. And I believe that this is what Rabbi Nachman is speaking about when he speaks about the 50 gates of Tshuva and their connection with the 49 letters of the names of the Shvatim. Ashreinu matayv chalkeinu. Can't wait to continue this journey with you. What a zchus to be connected to this tzaddik's teachings. What a privilege. Ashreinu. And wishing everybody a beautiful Elul filled with return, recalibration, freedom. Bina is also the Olam HaCheres. That's why it's connected to Yovel, which is the 50th year, the 50 gates, because it has to do with being free. It's called the Alma de Cheru, the world of freedom. V'karasa Jurar la'aretz. Mamish, the whole thing of Yovel is freedom, and of course it's also connected to the shofar, right, which is also blown, and so that's really what it is. Tikal b'shofar gadol l'cheru seinu. That we should be free from our limitations and rise into our essence. Be'ezus Hashem. Thank you so much for listening. Wishing everybody the most wonderful day. Chazak v'yamat.